how often did you not finish something because it wasn't perfect? And you thought, oh, I can't publish that. I can't show that to anybody because it's not perfect. And I've spent in the last years hours and hours on the idea to prep something, to get to something perfect. It just needs to be right. And they're all like tiny details that I'm over prepping, that I got most of it done. And then it's one tiny thing that I'm like, no, it's not perfect. I can't do that. And so I kept getting stuck in the idea of perfection. And the last few years, I started to challenge that idea more and more, because there's no perfect routine. There's just a routine that fits my season right now. And that I learned with having a child. It's kind of funny because having a child teaches you so many lessons also about business and life. And so that's just also a personal growth story. It's interesting because with a child, you're like, oh, we dialed this routine in perfectly. So he goes to bed on time, he's quiet, he's falling asleep. And then a month goes by and he's starting to teeth. And your whole routine is going down the drain because nothing works anymore. And so you need to think all over again. So by trying to get this routine to where it's perfect, and then a month later, it doesn't work at all. And that's kind of the story of being a parent. You figure out one thing, and then you learn another, and then the one thing doesn't work anymore. And there's just constant shift and change, and so that you can start getting used to that. But what I noticed with that is, how do I actually know what perfection is? And so here I got some notes today. So we shouldn't try, or we shouldn't aim to hit 100% when we actually don't know how the 100% look, because we actually don't know the ceiling. So it's hard to judge something, if something is perfect or not, because it's hard to judge what the 100% really looks like. And it's a standard that you can't achieve. On the other hand, what if you think, oh, you've done it to 100%, and then you learn, oh, there was actually 120% possible. And so perfection, I started to learn more and more, is the result of a closed mindset. Because only a closed mindset can actually be done. A perfection means that there is a completion that's possible, that there is a whole. But with most things in our lives, it's actually not possible to get it done. I can't get done being a parent. Yes, I might be done for a day, but then tomorrow starts and it's all over again. And so there's no being done with it, because you're a parent until the day you die, essentially, because even though your kids grow up, that's what I've heard, they never stop being your kids. And the same goes for business. You're never done with business. If you stop growing in business, you essentially die. And then we have the same thing. The same goes for marriage. I can't be perfect at marriage because my marriage is growing, my marriage is changing, and over life it's not going to stay the same all around. And so it would be a lie to say I can reach perfection, because perfection just implies that completion is possible. And when completion is not possible, perfection is the wrong measure we can have for it. I'll try to find some shade for the wind to where it's not so windy. Oh, this is better. So I have a nice view now, all the woods. And so the question is, we need to have a growth mindset, because we want to build a business. We want to raise a family. So we need to be adapting to the circumstances that are changing. And so what I found is that perfection is hunting the 100%, where excellence understands that the 100% is not possible. It's a lie. And so excellence instead focuses on impact, because we can, or impact and growth. Why impact? Because excellence is opting for the most impact. It means to be effective, to be goal-oriented. And growth mindset is goal-oriented, but it's open to the actual outcome. Let me explain that. So that means that excellence actually is open to say, well, we don't know what the total mass is, what's possible. So we sow one little corn seed in the ground every year and then it starts to grow. But we don't know whether we get 2 corns back or 3 corns back or 100. And so we don't actually know how much the impact of our actions is until we have done that action. So it's always a retrospective perspective. And so excellence is striving for great. Like, we want to be great, and so we can't stop at being good, because good is the accepted standard, which is maybe perfection in more practical term. But we're striving to grow even further. And so it's just interesting that striving for excellence means striving for growth. It means striving for greatness. It means striving for something that you might not even think is possible, because you just want to be the best at it. And so you might start out today, which, like, if that's your first YouTube video you film, it's not going to be your best video. 100 videos in, you might say, oh yeah, that was a bad video. 400 videos in, it's like, oh well, video number 100 was also still pretty bad. And so you just keep learning as you grow. And so your biggest success is not going to be your first success. And that understanding is within excellence. So to sum it up, is it's not to think of 100%, but to think of 100x, 100 times, because that's how big your faith is, to say that you can grow something to 100-fold. And that's not necessarily just your action, but it's the striving for excellence that actually sets you on that path. And so there's one more thing that I want to cover in all of this, because failure is bound to happen. I can't tell you how often I failed in the recent years. I'm not sure if I'm at the point to say with Edison, I think Edison it was, that I failed 1,000 times to find the one way that's working. I'm not sure if I failed 1,000 times yet, so I may not be qualified for the one that's working, but I do see some progress in what I'm doing. So that's good. But there is a point to dealing with failure. And one important thing to that is that we need to understand failure as it is, and we need to deal with the failure. And there is one big distinction between perfectionists and excellent. Striving for excellence? I don't even know. There's probably a noun for it. Perfection sees failure as the reason to quit, because something that you've done to perfection and failed at it is not meant to be. I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing and hearing all over the place. One thing that I would say, though, is that perfection, you can't say that failure, that that even if you do something to perfection, that failure is not bound to happen. And so how I started to see failure under the lens of excellence is not as a reason to quit, but rather a reason, or a reason that shows that you're on the right journey. Because failure means that you have done something and that you can tell whether it worked or not. So it means that you understand what the bar of excellence is, and you understand that taking action is part of the journey as well as failing. And so that's what I'm going to leave you with today, that we should strive for excellence, not for perfection, because perfection is a lie that we can't reach, because 100% completion is never a long-term plan, because life is a season of change, or seasons of change that we will grow. And so keep chopping the wood, and then I'll talk to you next time.